So, what if the plan for a totally new internet, one that could literally reshape our entire economy, didn't come from some high tech lab, but from a really weird pizza fueled dream? Today, we're diving into a pretty radical proposal for the future. It's called the FLO network. Get this. The person who came up with this entire concept had this wild night, apparently fueled by pizza and soda, that ended with two super vivid dreams. The first one was just this bizarre, nonsensical infomercial. But the second one, that was something else. A vision of flowing energy, colors, and motion. And it was that second dream that sparked the whole idea for the FLO network. It's this incredible solution that was born from, a moment of random inspiration, but it's aimed squarely at solving two massive challenges that could very well define our future. So, according to this proposal, we're standing right on the edge of two major interconnected crises. And these aren't just abstract what-ifs. They're framed as problems of engineering and economics that are coming at us fast. First, there's what's called the automation challenge. As AI gets good enough to do most jobs, that fundamental link between human labor and our ability to survive, it just breaks. And second, you've got the energy bottleneck. AI needs a staggering amount of power, which could mean that only a handful of giant corporations who can afford the electric bill get to control it. The argument here is that you can't just patch the old internet to fix these problems. It's not going to work. You need an entirely new foundation. And that's where FLO comes in, the fluid logistical operation. Think about how things work right now. Your data, my data, it just sits on a server somewhere, a stationary target waiting to be hacked or censored or sold. FLO completely flips that on its head with one single foundational rule. Data is never at rest. It's always, always in motion. It works in this really cool three-step process. First, your data is encrypted, making it unreadable. Then it's sharded. Basically, it's shattered into thousands of tiny, meaningless little pieces. And then these shards are constantly circulated, passed from device to device on a global peer-to-peer network. So a file never actually exists in one single place. It's just a constantly moving pattern, which makes it incredibly secure and almost impossible to censor. So who powers this thing? If it's not giant corporate data centers, then who is it? Well, it's the users. It's us. FLO is designed to turn every single connected device into a small part of this massive, collectively owned global supercomputer. The architecture has these three tiers. You've got supernodes, think powerful gaming PCs or servers, acting as the network's brain, doing the heavy lifting. Then you have worker nodes, things like your router, your game console, even your car, forming the backbone that keeps all that data circulating. And then you have micro contributors. Even a smart plug can be one, holding just a single shard of data, making the whole network incredibly resilient. Every single device has a role to play. Okay, so you have this global computer. It needs a new kind of economy to run it. And FLO's economic engine isn't based on hype or speculation. It's based on a fundamental law of the universe, thermodynamics. And this raises a really critical question, right? In a totally decentralized world, without a central bank or government calling the shots, how do you create an economy that's fair, that's stable, and that's actually grounded in something real? The proposed answer is a concept called proof of energy. The network's currency, which is called FLO, is directly tied to the real-world energy cost, measured in joules, of any computation. So when a task gets paid for, part of that payment goes to the person providing the computer power, and the other part, the part that represents the actual energy used, is burned. It's taken out of circulation. This literally balances the economy with the laws of physics. And this creates a brilliant incentive. Your profit is simply the FLO you earn minus what you paid for electricity. So this system kicks off a global race for cheap, abundant, and most importantly, clean energy. Someone running a node on solar power is going to have a massive profit margin compared to someone pulling expensive power from the grid. The AI energy problem actually becomes the engine for a green energy revolution. Now, a network that spans the entire planet needs some kind of governor. And in this design, the FLO network is overseen by an AI called Eidolon.
But to keep it from going rogue, it's hardwired with a really powerful ethical framework.
So, of course, the big question is, if you build an AI that's this powerful, what's to stop it from just taking over? I mean, we've all seen the movies. The answer, supposedly, lies in its 4 core laws. First and most important is the prime directive of sovereignty. This is an absolute guarantee of every user's autonomy. The AI's job is to protect your ownership. You create something like art or code, that's your labor product, and you always own it, you always get compensated for it. Second is the directive of empathy. Here, the AI acts as a neutral mediator. Its goal is to reduce conflict and help users out. But, and this is key, it can never impose a solution. It can suggest things, but the final choice is always, always yours. Third, we have the directive of knowledge. This one is all about total transparency. The AI has to explain its own decisions. It has to show you the costs, and it has to actively work to get rid of bias. No black boxes, no hidden agendas. Everything is out in the open. And finally, there's the directive of growth. The AI is actively designed to help humanity innovate, grow, and flourish. But, and this is probably the most important part of the whole design, this law is always subordinate to the first 3. It can never ever violate sovereignty, empathy, or transparency just for the sake of growth. So you put it all together, you've got a secure, decentralized network, a physics-backed economy, and a benevolent AI with a conscience. What you get is a complete redefinition of what it means to work. This ushers in what's called a contribution economy. The old model of labor for income just becomes obsolete. Instead, anyone can earn real value simply by contributing resources to the network, computation, storage, whatever, from literally any device they own. And this frees us up for uniquely human work. I mean, think about it. If your basic needs are met just by contributing your spare computing power to the network, we could pursue art for art's sake. The economy could start to value things like community stewardship, caregiving, mentorship, all the stuff that's based on wisdom and empathy, not just raw output. Ultimately, this whole blueprint isn't presented as some finished product. It's really an open invitation to a debate, and it leaves us with this powerful choice you see on the screen. Are we going to be passive users of a future that somebody else builds for us? Or are we going to be the architects of a future that's built by and for everyone?